and gentlemen, what's up? I am here. We are back. Welcome to the Mayhem Show, episode 54, and we are doing good, man. It is Mark May. I hope you guys are doing good out there. We got a new Kickstarter coming up here very soon. It's going to be Hellbringers, Untitled Chapter. We got Ron Charles Williams working on the interiors right now. We got some big name cover artists that we're going to announce tonight. Bob Hall's coming in. We also got Nia Ruffino. We're going to have myself, and we're going to have a couple more. Chris Graves is also going to be on there, guys. It's going to be an awesome Kickstarter. We'll be showing you a little preview of it later tonight. Guys, I'm feeling a lot better, man. Just got back from Hawaii. It was a recharge mentally and physically to be able to get these books back out to you. We're going to be finishing with the last couple chapters of Hellbringers. We're going to finish strong. And guys, it is going to be amazing. I wish I was out there with you guys at Denver Comic-Con this weekend. Unfortunately, we had a little COVID scare there, so I'm not able to come out there with you guys this weekend, but we did show that little preview image there of Colorado Springs Comic-Con. They announced it today. I will be a guest out there. Make sure to go check that out at Colorado Springs Comic-Con because you guys know how much I love that convention. Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we have the man himself back in the house, Mr. Lewis Perry, joining me again. Lewis, what is up, my man?
How you doing? I am good. I'm rocking and rolling, man. I am like super jealous. You're going to Colorado. I'm not going this year. I'm not going to Colorado Springs. The Angry Geeks are not going to Colorado Springs because we got a special project we're working on. And of course, ARE, Alternate Reality Entertainment, they're going to be involved. We're going to be making that announcement coming up very shortly. And I tell you what, it's going to shake the foundations when that announcement is being made because our sparkle burns everyone's eyes, and it's going to be huge when this announcement is made, Mark. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be unlike anything anyone ever seen. The moving, shaking, deals are popping, contracts are being signed. Just you wait and see, brother. You are going to be shocked when an announcement is dropped. Because
it's hard to shock me, so I can't wait to see it, man.
Oh no, you're gonna be shocked. Everyone's gonna be shocked because I let the man himself, Mr. ARE himself, today know what was going on, and he was like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, dead on. I signed the contract this morning. Just you wait and see."
Wow.
So
I'm excited, man.
Yeah, it's rocking and rolling. Just when you think you know the answers, I change the questions, and that's what the Angry Geeks is all about. So
Mr. Lewis Piper in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, it has been a long time since I've had Lewis on the show. It's been a long time since I've been able to talk to Lewis at all, really. So really cool to see him. Guys, we got somebody waiting backstage who's bigger.
Wait, you know what? I forgot to ask. I forgot to ask Adina if she liked my shirt.
I'll definitely get her to look and tell me.
Yeah, I ask her because it's a special material. It's special material.
Oh, is it made of human skin?
No. It's made of special material. I want to know if she liked it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lewis back in the house, guys.
You know what kind of material it's made of?
Don't say boyfriend material. I'm going to slap
That's
you.
That's right, baby. That's right.
Jesus Christ. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Erik Larsen in the house. What's up,
Mr. Savage Dragon himself. How are you, sir? I got to book you on the Angry Geeks. I definitely do because I need you to be a part of this big announcement that's going to happen. So I'll be shooting you over an email or something.
Good Lord. Forewarned, I guess, huh?
Woo! Oh no, it's huge. It's a huge announcement.
Yeah. Mr. Larsen is back in the house.
All right, there we go.
Erik, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm all right. Too many all-nighters in a row, but get in there best I can.
What's your big project you're working on right now?
Oh, it's always the same stuff. I'm working on Ant and I'm working on Savage Dragon. So juggling two books here best I can, which is not very good as it turns out.
Dude, you're a rock star. You can handle it.
I'm trying.
You are a rock. Look at no green screen tonight. You can actually see the collection. Part of it, actually.
Jeez.
You can see part of it too.
Yeah, the only part of it.
It's just mayhem.
And then,
That's
no,
right.
that's
It
him.
is just Mayhem, the Mayhem Show with Mark
That's
May,
him.
ladies and gentlemen, and Erik is on it tonight. Thanks for the pitch, man.
Oh, Jesus.
Lewis.
Jesus. What? It's not
Tonight,
about me. It's about the man
I'm
down
going to
here.
let you start out with the questions tonight, Lewis.
All right. What are your convention schedule? Do you have a convention schedule this year?
Zero.
Really?
Yeah.
Come on
I'm all the way
now.
up to 0 at this point.
Come on. Well, we got to get you to Rhode Island.
No,
That's what we
man,
got to do.
It's been great. Zero is about my speed.
No. We got to get you in contact with the good old folks of Alternate Reality Entertainment. Get you to Rhode Island. I mean, the people.
Yeah, it's just the whole COVID thing being what it's been, and elderly parents and such. It's just been like, you know what? Let's lay low until this blows over for good. And so I'm just kind of been on cruise control in that regard. Haven't been to one since COVID kind of kicked off. So February or so 2020 was the last one I was at.
What was the last one?
I was down in, I don't know the actual name of the show, but it was down in the LA area.
Oh, okay.
Who knows? Who knows?
2020, ladies and gentlemen. How many cons did you do before that, Erik? Before COVID?
I would do. Towards the end there, I was not going crazy. It would be 5 or 6 a year maybe. So not insane, and it was getting kind of neat because we're getting to where there were a lot of international shows, and my wife would be like all up for going on a road trip. So that was kind of nice. It's like, oh, cool. So she can go and have fun in Paris while I'm doing my stuff. And then when the show is over, the two of us could go bounding around town and checking out all the stuff that she checked out already.
Good.
It's all right. She's been with me to a few different shows. Went down to Mexico and went to Paris, and we went to all over the place. Went to Greece. That was kind of fun.
Wow.
I do have a quick question. Any new Savage Dragon merchandise coming out? Any new action figures? Because I'm jonesing for a new one or a new statue for here.
I think there's an action figure. I can't remember who's putting that out.
Okay.
It is. There's definitely that, and then Claiborne Moore is doing a Dart statue.
Ooh,
so
okay,
that's pretty cool. That will be released in.
He's the one that did the Lady Death statues, right, Erik?
Yeah, he did. He's done some cool ones. He did a Savage Dragon one real early on in the 90s, and then he did a She Dragon, and he did also a little Mr. Glum and a few different ones. He's done a bunch of them over the years. I got a bunch of them somewhere.
Because I'm also on the hunt for a 3XL shirt, but I can't find one anywhere.
Yeah.
Because but a 3XL is the only thing that fits me, and I looked everywhere and I can't find it. Not even at a con on Amazon.
Yeah.
I can't find one. Yes.
They're tough to find. Yeah, you end up going, oh, I guess I'll make my own. I've done that
Yes,
myself.
you're gonna have to make one, and it's gonna cost me. It's gonna cost me $50, but yeah.
I want to own this, so here we go. But I haven't found a super awesome place for that either, because a lot of those shirts, you get them, it's like, oh, this is some kind of skinny material that I don't like. But
yeah, it's like it's really hard, and it's like you search and search and search, and you can't find something.
Yeah.
If you
well,
want
it's really tough for these stores to stock this stuff, just because there's so much stuff, and there's so many different people of so many different sizes. You go into a store, it's like, is there the exact thing for me? And it's like, no,
exactly. Or it's
and
like
3X. Your options are pretty limited at 3X. Anyway.
You have no idea. If I want Mickey Mouse, I can get that. If I want, something like this, I can get that. But if I want if I want something obscure, if I want like a Dracula, or if I want Frankenstein, if I want dragon or ant, or
those are tough. They're tough. They're tough.
Yeah. It's I can't get one. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, it's like wicked hard. Mark, ball's in your court.
So Erik, it's been a year since we've had you on the show. I mean,
Right.
that's a long time. You've been up to a lot, with your 2 books you have going on right now together. I gotta ask you, man, how do you do it? Like, how do you mentally stay in the space that you're in, and tackle both these giant projects at the same time? What's your coping mechanism, I guess you could say, with like burnout to make it do as long as you've done this? Like,
well, so far it's been a happy life. I married well. that simplifies a lot of things. At this point, all my kids are out of the house, so I don't have them to trip over, and I don't have those as time sucks. So they're gone. That's something I don't have to concern myself with. And mostly it hasn't been a situation where ideas are a huge problem. More the difficulty in making comics has just been almost a matter of editing in a way, if that makes sense. Because what it'll be is I'll go, I know what information I need to convey. What scenes do I do that convey that information? Like, like in the latest Dragon spoiler, characters die. So there's characters that die in the last issue that's out and on sale. So the subsequent issue, I'm sitting there going, all right, so do I go with the scene of Malcolm finding out, just getting the news that these people have died? Or do I skip that and go right to a funeral? Or do I, if there's a follow-up from the funeral because somebody's pissed off at him because somebody died inadvertently because of something he did, then do I cut to that instead and skip the funeral because I've done 6 or 7 funerals over the course of the run of doing this book? It's really a matter of, I've got this much information. What's the best way of conveying it when there's all this other stuff that's going on? And really I'm trying to be as succinct as I can be, because there's a lot of stuff to cover. Because I've done this idiotic thing of setting my book in real time, and what that has done, just as a creator, is you're sitting there going, so I have to cover a month's worth of material every issue. Holy crap, that's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of events, and you want to check in on the kids, because kids change a lot over the months and over the years and stuff like that. So you don't want it to just be like, hey, they're little kids, and then the next time you see them, they're in high school. It's got to be like, no, we got to see this progression here a little bit. And then there's so many characters that are in and out of the book. It's like, all right, well, we haven't seen Angel in a while. What's she up to? Oh, we haven't seen, this character, that. There's all these Freak Force characters and Super Patriot, and it gets unwieldy. So it's kind of keeping track of all those little pieces of where is everybody, how are they in relation to each other, and what are they up to. And then Ant is another headache entirely, because it's a whole different group of characters. But I'm kind of establishing it. So it's much more the building blocks of, okay, well, who are the players in this world? Who are all the major characters, and how are they being introduced, and when are they being introduced, and what is the status quo of that? Does she have how does she exist in this world? Does she have a job? Does she do this? Does she do that? There just ends up being a lot of little pieces that go on there too. Yeah.
As a creator and as a writer, and I'm going to ask you this because in my mind you're a legend, and I've never asked this. This is a first time question for me, and it just clicked as hearing you talk, and I never asked this of any creator that I've had a conversation with. How do you feel about death in a comic? Do you think a character should stay dead, or do you feel that we should resurrect that character years down the road, issues down the road, a year down the road? How do you feel about when a character is killed off in a comic?
It depends on the comic and depends on who owns it and stuff like that. I know in my own book,
Yeah.
my feeling is I like deaths to be permanent.
Okay.
And I would like, but I've also done fake deaths where you go, I know the way out of this one, and you just think they're dead, but they're really not. So that's one kind of thing, and I don't feel bad about going, hey, psych, fooled you. That to me is an acceptable way of kind of doing your death and then getting out of it. But I do think that death needs to have some kind of consequence, and at the very least, there should be some kind of repercussions. Because I've done stuff where it's like I'm going to blow up the whole world, and then why we're on a different Earth now, and there are a lot of the same characters that we knew from the previous Earth. And so, now a dragon is going, hey, what's the new status quo here? And where is everybody? And what's this all about? So in a way, I did bring back everybody on Earth from death. But they're different versions of the same people. So it's kind of not exactly them because their histories are somewhat different and their relationships are somewhat different. So that makes it something of a different thing. But I think if you're Marvel or DC, they have to bring them back. They just have to, because that's all they have. They can't count on somebody else coming along and go, and I'm going to invent something as iconic as Spider-Man. It's like, yeah, good luck with that.
All right. Speaking now, again, as a creator, with all the indie books that are out today, do you think that a character such as Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man, do you think one of those characters would actually, if they were perceived today, invented today, do you think they would be a hit today as they were back in the 60s and 70s?
There's so many variables there that it's hard to know, because you're saying, okay, we got to wipe out everybody's. It's like do a mind wipe where nobody's ever seen Superman before. I would think with all of those characters, they're so basic, iconic characters that I think they would resonate. I think you would go, oh yeah, this Batman guy, have you seen him yet? He looks totally cool. And I think you could probably do the same with Superman and Spider-Man, and a lot of those guys I think would still work. But also it's going to depend on who you got working on that. Because if you've got just, some hopeless guy working on it, it's like, oh, this comic's terrible. It's like, well, of course it's no good. Look at it.
All right, these are just questions that pop into my head. I mean, I can just be sitting there driving home from my day job at Toolmax, designing and tooling, and I could just be driving and poof, it'll pop into my head.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of questions. People will go, well, could Jack Kirby break in the comics field today, and could he be successful today?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, well, you're asking a lot of stuff, because now you're presupposing that Jack Kirby never existed in comics to begin with. And it's like, well, that takes care of half the industry. If you take him out of the
and half the
equation,
characters.
it's like, all of Marvel Comics, a good chunk of DC.
Yeah, and
that makes things a really different thing. And if people are, because I think the bigger question is his style so strange and foreign to modern comics? Would readers accept him as a new guy? And I think there are creators whose work is stylized enough you could kind of go, yeah, if Mike Allred can have a career, I see no reason that Jack Kirby couldn't have a career. So,
okay.
if there are other guys whose stuff you look at and you go, well, this guy's stuff is clearly not hyper realistic. Humberto Ramos is like, those are some pretty stylized looking figures you've got going on there. There's no reason to think that somebody like Jack Kirby couldn't make a go of it.
Okay, fair enough.
So
Thank you. Thank you for your answer, Mark.
You're talking about death, and we're talking about death in comics, and I sit there and I think about it for a second. We actually had a death in our last book that we're shipping this week to people, and it's actually changing the title of the book. So it's so impactful that it actually changes the title of the book for one of our books. Now, what I hate is when you read a Marvel or DC title and they kill the character and then they bring him back 2 weeks later in a mini series
talking about, yeah,
like that.
Because it's like, oh, death has no consequence. It's just a temporary inconvenience. Yeah. It's a way to get some characterization from your.
It just ruins the rest of the impact of the comic book for me.
Yeah. It becomes like, who even cares? Because even now I've got people who are saying, okay, but when's Savage Dragon coming back really? And it's like, no, he's dead, and we've seen him in heaven, and we've seen that he was reduced to dust. There's no coming back from that. He's gone. The book is Malcolm's now. And it's like, no. Yeah, but this is comics, right? So you can just bring it back. And it's like, yeah, I can, but I'm not going to. Because that's kind of what this book is about, is characters getting older and then characters, moving on and life changing and like that. And that's kind of where I want the book to be. Is I want there to be that constant, and things are getting different. Things are changing up. And now his life has changed because of this and that. When I started the book, Malcolm Dragon didn't exist. And then, Dragon got his girlfriend pregnant. And then suddenly she's got a little kid. And then now he's the lead character in the book. And he's 25, 26 years old. And he's got kids of his own. And he's married. And now his kids are going to school. And it's like, holy crap, man.
It's brilliant. It truly is. It's brilliant storytelling, because if you had a person that was actually reading that book at, like, say 9 or 10, they pick, and now I granted it was a mature book back then, but that person grew up with this universe.
Oh yeah. And I get that all the time. It's like, I got married around the time Dragon got married. And I had a kid around the time Dragon had a kid. And now my kid's 25 and Dragon, it's like, oh, there's all these parallels with my life,
Exactly.
And now I've got a younger generation of people who are reading the book who are going, when the book first came out, I wasn't even born yet. But, I started reading the book as a teenager when Malcolm Dragon was going to high school. And now, now he's older and I'm older, and all this stuff is progressing, and it's super cool in that regard, because it's just unlike anything that's coming from anybody else.
Well, yeah, it's beyond super cool. Like I said, it's brilliant. I mean, sir, you're a brilliant storyteller. Did you plan this to go like this? I mean,
yeah. No, from the start, I wanted to do real time. That was absolutely in the cards. Like, yeah, I want to do real time. I want to have, hey, here's the current president, and they're in the comic. Hey, here's the next president, and
Yep.
they're in the comic. And when dates are mentioned, it's not the situation of 10 years later having to go, oh, I've got to re-edit all those old issues to update all those references. It's like, no, those references stand. When people are wearing their stonewashed jeans, that's because it's the 90s, or whatever. It's like,
let me ask you a question, Erik.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mark.
So, sorry, Lewis, to play into this with what you guys are talking about with the real time, Erik, let's ask that deep question. What do you want to happen to Savage Dragon? Like, let's say if something ever happens to you, what do you want to do to continue Savage Dragon?
Whoa, Mark.
Listen.
Here's the honest truth:
man.
is I don't care. Because once I'm gone, I don't care anymore. That's the beauty of being gone. Is you just go, hey, check this out. I no longer give a shit because I'm here. It doesn't matter. It's like, oh, is your wife gonna license it out? It's like, maybe not. It may die with me, and that might be the end of it. Oh, he was on page 6, and the last issue publishes up to page 6, and the rest is blank pages, and we're done. Whatever. Yeah. I don't know how it's going to work out. I don't have a last issue that's sitting there waiting to be printed as soon as I kick off. I don't have that going on. The problem with preparing for the end is I don't know when the end is going to come. So it's like, all right, so am I going to go another 10 years? Am I going to go another 20? Am I going to go another 30, for crying out loud? That seems like a lot.
All the fans. I'm sorry, Mark, but I am sure all the fans, myself included, want the book to go on. I mean, we supported the book for this long. We supported the character for this long. We wanted more. The diehard fans will still watch the cartoon on Peacock, and we talked about that the last time you were on. Yeah. It's just we love the character, so of course we want the character to last forever. We want the title to last forever. Mark, I can't believe I still am flabbergasted that you said that.
But I'm asked about that all the time. Like, what's going to happen if you get hit by a bus tomorrow? Yeah. And it's like, I mean,
I've never asked the creator that question before, and I've always wondered it myself. Because what happens?
Well, I mean, at this point, there's no mechanism, and there's nobody sitting there waiting in line to do the book.
Okay.
So, is my wife going to sit there and go, oh, I want to run with that ball? No, she doesn't. Is Eric Stevenson going to be going, we got to find somebody to work on his book? No. So at this point, there is no mechanism, and there's no, I don't even think most people even have my wife's email address, so they couldn't get in touch with her if they wanted to. So probably it would get to that where it was just like, all right, we're done. It's just it ends here, and that's the last of it.
Okay.
So I don't know, but it's up to her, and it's up to whoever's left. If I got, if my kids are old enough, well, they are old enough, but are they going to want to do it? No. Are they capable of doing it? Absolutely not. Because when people heard I had a kid back in the day, it was like, oh, because they think like John Romita Jr. or one of the Kubert boys. Oh, your kids are going to grow up and then they'll take over the book. That'll be brilliant. It's like that's not working out, guys. They're blazing their own path and doing their own thing. They're not sitting there going, I want to draw comics when I get older.
So what are you speaking of that? And let's get off of this subject, Mark, because it's very uncomfortable for me. What actually, what got you into drawing comics? I don't think I ever asked you that.
I I don't know. But I grew up with comics because my dad was a collector when he was a little kid. So we had his old comic book collection around the house. So it was just something that was accessible to us. So I was reading, my first comics that I was reading as a kid were his comics. So I was reading Captain Marvel Adventures, and I was reading all the Donald Duck and Uncle Scrooge comics that he had got in the 40s and 50s. And he bought comics for kids in the 40s, and then when EC Comics came around, he started buying all the EC stuff. Mm-hmm. And then when EC was essentially shut down by the Comics Code, he bought their New Direction books, but then those went away very quickly, and he stopped buying comics. And that's when the Playboy collection kicked in. But,
good call, man. Same level of entertainment, right there.
Well, some of the same people who are working on one went and worked on the other, because you got
that's
Elder and stuff like that. And
that's how it goes. That's how it went.
So I grew up with that, and then for some reason I decided I really liked these things, and I had gotten some early comics. I bought some on my own, whatever was new, and I just was one of those kids who drew all the time, and I was always creating my own characters and drawing my own stories. And I drew comics all through grammar school and up through high school. I would just draw them on a 8.5 by 11 paper and fold it in half and stapled up the side. And I just said they were Marvel comics. I just wrote on a Marvel Comics group and a little dude in a circle and all that stuff. And I didn't really know about first issues because there weren't that many new comics that were starting up when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. So it was all, so like my first ones were like the Dragon number 64. So it was like as though it had been going on forever. And then here's Powerhouse in his own book, and here's whatever, all these characters I did, the Deadly Duo. And that was just the way I was doing comics back then. And then at some point somebody said, Marvel Comics, dude, you can't own that. It's like, oh yeah, I guess I'll do something else. So there was room to put a tiny little something, and I shoved SGT next to it, so it said Sergeant Marvel's Comics, and then I just invented a character named Marvel to kind of cover my ass. And then at that point, I changed it to Ajax Comics Group, and then I did a whatever. There's so much stupidity that went on when I was a kid. It's unbelievable.
Well, I believe I told you this before. My first experience, my first exposure to you was your run in Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man. And
amazing. It was Amazing Spider-Man.
Amazing Spider-Man. I'm looking across the room, and on my rack is Spectacular Spider-Man's over there. I apologize. And I always drew lips on female one certain way until I saw you draw Black Cat and Mary Jane, and then ever since then, how you draw lips is how I draw lips.
All right.
Because it's just you just so okay. I'm gonna draw Erik Larsen lips. There you go, everybody. Erik Larsen lips gets it.
And then you see me, and you're like, dude, you have no lips at all. What the hell? Why are you even giving characters lips? You just have this on your face.
Because they got them voluptuous lips.
Yeah. I always do that on the characters, but in terms of
it's
I'm not referencing myself clearly.
What's the one character you always wanted to work on but never had a chance to?
Probably Captain Marvel, as in Shazam, I guess you'd call him.
Thank you. You called him right.
Good. But he was always Captain Marvel when I was a kid. So Captain Marvel was big, and that's just like, oh, what a challenge it would be to try and make Captain Marvel cool, given everything that's been done to him over the years.
Okay. How did you feel about the movie?
I didn't like it at all. I didn't like
really?
Yeah. That was terrible.
Oh my God. Okay. I thought it was
Yeah.
very entertaining.
No, I mean, I thought it's all right, but Captain Marvel, from my understanding of Captain Marvel was based on having read those old comics, is that he transforms into another guy, and it's not Billy's mind in Captain Marvel. He's
It's a
another
totally
guy.
different individual.
So when you do that, when you have it in a movie, and then you're not able to even call him Captain Marvel, and then like they made Savannah like this tall dude, and he was able to fight him, and it's like, God, Savannah's this little grunty.
He's a little midget, a
dude.
little person.
Yeah,
Little person.
he's like, he should be like, find somebody who's like 4
Danny
foot
DeVito.
8 or something, somebody who's not like a total tall dude. And
I got that as well.
Like a bunch of the little things. I was like, I think in terms of casting, good choice to play Captain Marvel. He looks the part. I would say you have a tough time finding a better guy to cast. I think the costume was not. That's not what I see as being his costume. But it's like whatever.
I think they rushed it too quick with the Captain Marvel family.
It's like they should, let him be Captain Marvel for a movie. At least give him one. But I mean, in the comics, they had the 3 Lieutenant Marvels. They came about super early too. It's like, why are you guys showing up so early? And then they went to Captain Marvel Jr. and Mary Marvel. They were pretty early on.
Mark?
I've got all that stuff now. So,
as you were coming up as a kid, you talked about what you were reading as a kid, but like as a teenager and say in your 20s, was Marvel and DC like all there was for you comic wise at that point coming up past all that, or was there something that felt like it was
got whatever I could get my hands on? Anything that was a comic book, I would buy. It didn't matter.
But what I'm asking is, did it feel just as big as the main 2 to you? Was there?
They weren't as big because there wasn't as much material that was available.
You must have had Charlton.
Yeah, when Charlton was happening, I bought E-Man. I bought Space 1999 and
$6 Million Man.
$6 Million Man. Whatever else. All those things. Whatever licensed books they had. Doomsday Plus One. Kind of whatever was available. And then you follow those artists as they develop, and you see them as this train rumbling down the track. It's like, oh, this John Byrne guy, he seems pretty good. And then suddenly he's at Marvel, and it's like, holy crap! Oh, he's just getting better and better. It's amazing.
What's your favorite comic movie of all time, Eric?
Oh, I don't know. That's a tough one. I probably if someone said, "Hey, you can rewatch any of the old movies," I would probably go Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse at this point, just because I thought,
nice choice.
It's like that's just a fun, cool visual movie. But I like the first Christopher Reeve Superman. I think was a solid movie, and the first few Marvel things as they were coming out. That first Iron Man is like that's a pretty solid movie all around. There's a couple of clunky moments where you go, I don't know that Jeff Bridges would know how to run that Iron Man costume quite so quick, but there was a lot of stuff in there that was like, this is pretty close to the comics, and it feels really good. That first Captain America movie I thought was pretty rock solid. The first Avengers movie I thought was a solid one. So yeah, I think generally speaking they've done a decent enough job. Now the problem is that every movie has to be everything has to be in every movie now, and that you can watch a movie now, and if you're not up on everything that's happened with the characters and all this other stuff, it's like, oh, who is this person? What are they all about? And what's the relationship here? It's like I didn't watch WandaVision mostly because my wife got first episode in and she was like, yeah, I don't like this at all. It's like,
I judge. I'm sorry for this, Mark. On Angry Geeks, I judge when we review something. I judge it on my wife's reaction, or on the general public. My wife is totally sports. She is not a part of our world. She's not a part of this world.
yeah,
She is all sports. But if something holds her attention, I know it will hold the general public's attention. WandaVision, no, she didn't like it. She wouldn't watch it. No, this is horrible. So I knew it wouldn't hold the general public's attention.
Most of the TV shows she didn't make it all the way through. We watched the one with Winter Soldier,
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Soldier. We made it through that. We made it through.
So did my wife and I. She
made
goes, "Oh my God,
Loki, she liked.
Yep.
But Moon Knight, we bailed.
Yep.
Ms. Marvel, she didn't like that at all. So
she won't even watch it. She looked at it.
Watched one episode, and she was just like, "Oh, it's too much of this crazy, distracting stuff going on." She just didn't like the whole style of it.
Yeah, my wife looked at it and said, "Looks too teeny. I'm not going to watch it. Too teeny."
Yeah, well, it's like I'm not a teenager, and my wife certainly isn't a teenager, so. It's like,
my kid likes it. I don't mind it. The visual effects are cool. It might not be my story, but if the kid likes it, hell, that gives me an hour to work.
Yeah, well, my kids are out of the house, so I don't have that.
Right.
Yeah,
my youngest is 25 at this point, so
mine is 19. She got it going up on 20
in these households.
Yeah, and it's like I gauge everything by Rose. If she likes something, okay. The general public is gonna like it. If she doesn't like it, I know it's gonna flop. Like The Boys, she'll watch The Boys. I know, okay, it's good. If she sits down and watches it, if she loses interest, I know it's no good. She ain't not gonna like it.
It really depends, because like she didn't go in for The Boys either. So
really.
Yeah, that was just like, this isn't for me. She, I guess if you would ask her what her favorite TV shows, because we went and started watching a lot more TV during COVID as the world did. So, so she would go, number one would be Orphan Black. She loved Orphan Black. And then Sherlock, we watched all those. She's like, I like Sherlock. And then number 3 is Downton Abbey. So it's like, all right. So it's like, and I'm just there I just want to sit next to her for a couple of hours. So I'll watch anything. I don't care. I don't give a rat's ass. I'm not super invested in really those shows to begin with. It's like, it's all the same to me. I'll watch Anthony Bourdain if you want to do that. I don't care.
Anthony Bourdain's a great show, man. Hey, what about Star Wars? Are you into Star Wars at all, Eric?
I'm like every Star Wars fan. There's parts that I go, I love this, and then I get parts where I go, oh my God, why'd they do that? That's terrible. So,
what's an example of something you don't like on Star Wars?
I mean, I thought the last 2 big budget movies were not very good.
Oh yeah, they weren't.
It's like Force Awakens was like, okay, this is fine. I don't think you need to do another Death Star redo again. That doesn't seem necessary. I thought the handling with Harrison Ford, it's like, it's got some shock value, but I thought that was kind of a silly death.
Mm-hmm.
But I really liked the character Ray a lot, and I liked the character Finn a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The new pilot whose name I completely forget, not so much.
Poe.
I
Poe.
just don't find him that interesting.
It was Poe.
Okay, Poe.
Dameron Poe.
All right. Yeah, so it's like, oh, you introduce some characters that I kind of like, and that first movie kind of sets up some stuff that I quite like. They're running around in the desert, and she's hungry, and it starts with a big long sequence of her scavenging for stuff. There's some great visuals in there. Sets up a lot of cool things. I liked that the second movie after that kind of shit all over all the stupid stuff that was in the first movie, where they were just like, oh, you think this guy looks too much like Darth Vader? Well, I'm just going to wreck his mask immediately. Like, all right, that's cool. Oh, you think this guy is the big bad guy behind the whole thing? We're just going to kill him off immediately. It's like, oh, all right, there you go. This isn't what I was expecting. Cool. That Red Army thing, that's kind of silly looking, but whatever. I'll take that. So I kind of liked some of let's get rid of some of the criticisms of the first movie immediately. But and then the third one is just a train wreck.
Oh my God, isn't it?
Like,
I mean,
such a like, oh, we're going to bring back the Emperor. It's like, yeah, you might as well at this point. Yeah. And how do they make those big Death Stars? Well, apparently a freaking old bald guy just brings them up out of the ground. It's like, sure, that's that place is so impossible to get to, and yet there's a whole big crowd that's there. Well, where's the bathroom facilities for that mob? There's so much of that just like, oh, well, that doesn't make sense, and that doesn't make sense.
Right.
Oh, but it's visually cool. It's like, yeah, that's not enough just for it to be visually cool for me. There's gotta be some kind of internal something that works. I kind of like Solo. There's parts of that was like, oh, I really like this. He doesn't seem like Harrison Ford particularly, but it was an entertaining enough movie. Thought Rogue One.
It was. I enjoyed Solo very much.
Rogue One was something of a mess where you go, oh, really? They're storing all of their sensitive computer stuff in this super humid water world. That seems problematic just from day one. Oh, you're going to have a meeting where you fire somebody and you're going to be out in the rain doing that, and everybody's going to get pneumonia afterward? I mean, Jesus, what's wrong with you people?
Yeah,
there's so much of that movie that's just, oh, this doesn't make any sense. Oh, we got to put in all this stuff from the first Star Wars movie. So the people that are hanging out at the cantina, they're going to be just sitting around town. And it's like, so they went from sitting around in town to, we know that place blows up in the same movie shortly thereafter. So they just, oh, we got to leave this town in the next 30 minutes and go to the next place where things coincidentally have to take. It's like, this doesn't make any sense. All these little bits and pieces, and the story just kind of all over the place, and there's nobody to cheer for. That's like, there's no likable character here for crying out loud.
No, and you couldn't for Rogue One, and I said this when we reviewed it. How can you invest in any character when you knew the outcome of the movie? Everyone was going to die.
Yeah. Well, something's going to go on. I was just like,
I'm like, I went to the theater, sat down, and halfway through the film, I was like, is this done yet? We know how it's going to end.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to die. We know this story.
Yeah.
Let's just go home. I was completely bored. The only thing that surprised me was seeing the CGI Leia and Spencer Wilde.
She's horrifying.
Yes.
and
seeing Spencer Wilding walk by come in as Vader. That was it. There's your shock value. That's
So,
it. The rest.
Lewis,
What?
let's
What?
not forget the night that I saved Spencer's life.
Shut up. Yeah, we know that.
What
But
island?
the rest of the movie, it was just like, ah,
Yeah, it was
yeah,
all right.
yeah,
was
you
all
can't
right.
invest into it.
It's like I just do a Star Wars movie where we just are introduced to some cool new stuff, play with some of the set pieces we've seen before, and just write a new story. That's all we need. Just like I just want to know that this is in the same universe.
Give us Knights of the Old Republic, man. That's all we need right there.
I'm kind of to this point with all the Marvel stuff too. Does every movie have to be like the end of the world?
Yeah.
Because to me, we know that the world's not going to end. We know that the world's going to be fine. You're not going to destroy the world. I'm not really in those movies invested in the world because I'm pretty sure the world's going to be okay. But I don't know what's going to happen to Aunt May, and I don't know what's going to happen, what you've got in mind for some of these other characters. I don't know what's going on with them. So I can care about, is Betty Brant going to make it through this movie unscathed? Will she be fine? And that can be enough stakes for me. Show me some human relationships with characters that I like, and let's take it from there. I'm curious about that. But Jesus, man, do we really need another movie with let's get everybody together and let's have there be 50 superheroes that all have tiny cameos that go walking through, and let's tie it all in with, it's like, yeah, enough of your world building.
Agreed. Totally agree.
And people out, about, my favorite Captain America movie is this. They just keep getting better. It's like, no, they keep getting worse. The best one was the first one because that was a Captain America movie. The next two were just Marvel team up, or Avengers missing a couple dudes.
Yeah.
It's like, give me a Captain America movie. Show me him doing cool stuff.
All right, we're coming up on an hour of your time, but I do have one quick question since we're talking about movies. If Hollywood comes a knocking, now I did ask you this before, Hollywood comes knocking and we're going to do a Savage Dragon movie. Is it going to be the original Dragon or is it going to be Malcolm? Your choice. Who's it going to be?
I would think you would do the original Dragon. I think.
Thank you.
I think you'd probably set it in the 90s and just be like, this is when this takes place. And either you could either start it at the start and just be like, okay, we're just going to have this forever be 30 years behind times, or you could be, you know what, we're going to do this rapid style and show that characters do age, and just we'll catch up. By movie 3, Malcolm, we'll get like, hey, there's Malcolm as a little baby, and then next movie, hey, here's Malcolm and he is 10 years old. And next movie, you keep recasting him and keep making Dragon look older and more haggard as it goes on.
Who plays the part of the Dragon?
What Mark, you going to use you as Dragon?
No, who plays the part of Dragon?
God, who knows at this point? All my Dragon actors keep getting dementia or whatever the hell. Used to be Bruce Willis, but he's not making any movies anymore.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember you saying that you wanted Bruce Willis. Okay.
Yeah, it's like, okay, who are you going to cast now? It's like, Jesus, who can I get? I don't even know who would sit still to do it. It's like, all right, can we put Green on Chris Pine and see how he looks? Okay, let's check him out.
Chris Pine, yeah. Chris Pine will be a good Dragon.
I just want a handsome dude with a square jaw and plop a fin on his head. Not somebody who's not too tall, and do some sit-ups, dude.
I got one more question before we get off the air.
Wow! You said you're 3
Wow!
I don't know. I'm not seeing you.
What?
I got one more. Erik,
You're even an actor, for crying out loud. I just don't. I had a friend who's like, "Oh, you should cast me. I'm 5'10". It's like that's not really it. You got to also be a dude who's in movies. It's got to be something.
I'm on public access TV.
There you go.
He's on
All
here
right,
every
you got-
Friday
you
night
got it.
with
You
the
got
Mayhem
it.
Show.
I don't even know.
Wow.
So, Erik, the last question before we let you get out of here, I
Right.
want your opinion on this. Where do you think the future of the comic industry lies? Do you think it's with the big publishers? Do you think it's with the rich retailers? Or do you think it's with us guys, the indie comics guys?
They're the rich retailers. It's everything is working together, man. There is no one guy who's going to make this work or not. It's got to be everybody working in tandem with one another. That's got to be how it works, and it's how it's always been anyway. But I do like that indie comics have a bigger showing than they've had in years. It's like good, man, because we haven't had a good alternative to Marvel and DC for quite some time, and it's like, oh, I get to be part of that. That is super cool. That's like, oh, now we're at Dark Horse has been around for 35 years, and Image has been around for 30 years. It's like, holy crap, man, how'd that happen?
I know. I feel old.
How do you think I feel?
And
It's like, when I started reading Marvel comics, it seemed like these things have been around forever.
Yeah.
And then to realize at some point, oh no, they weren't around forever. Their main comics started in 1961. You started reading them in 73, 74. So they were only 12, 13 years.
Wow.
That they had been even going. And now, Image Comics has been going on for 30 years. Like, holy
wow.
Crap. That there were people who are functioning human beings that, Image Comics has been there their whole lives. It's like they've never known a world when Image Comics didn't exist. They've always been there.
Correct.
And it's like my own children are like, hey, these are adults who are out, semi-functioning adults out there in the real world. How in the world, the Image Comics has always been there. And that's, Dad's always drawn Savage Dragon. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, I remember my mom bringing me to a doctor's appointment, and that's like a pediatric doctor. And I remember seeing a Time magazine, and it said Superman turns 50. I thought it was a comic book, and I opened it up, but it was a Time magazine, and I remember seeing that cover in 1970. It was crazy.
Yeah. Times are on.
Erik, I got to thank you for coming back on tonight, man. Thank you so much for being the first guest on our second go. This is kind of like season 2 of the Mayhem Show. I mean, we've been doing this for a year. Episode 54 is what this is right here. So it's insane to think, man, that we've done one of these a week every year, and we've had guests such as yourself to be on the show. And I really appreciate you coming on, dropping the knowledge that you drop on me every time we talk. And
3
then
nights
also,
a week for me.
It's just fun. It's just fun to talk to you, man. So
well, thanks.
anytime
Thanks
you
for
ever
having
want
me,
to come
guys.
on, yeah, we come on anytime. I mean, I think we show another side of you that people might not get to see all the time. So it's kind of cool, you know, especially with this guy to the right of me here, Mr. Lewis Perry, being on the show. He brings the personality, ladies and gentlemen. And
nice.
you know, he has been coming hard at us for a year with these promos at the end of this, and he's got one for us tonight.
No, I don't have one. I don't have one tonight because I've been busy all day working on the project that I have been the secret project that I have been for Angry Geeks. So yes,
listen, I once had a scholarship for improv. If I can get one, I know you can right here.
Because I'm the Tower of Power. I'm too sweet to be sour. I'm funky like a monkey. Space is the place and sky is the limit. So don't let my sparkle burn your eyes, because I'm telling you what, I am here and I'm going to take thy piece of pie right out of the sky.
I thought you were going with prize, but pie is just as fine. There you go, Lewis. That was awesome,
Yeah,
man.
just keep your eyes peeled, because when that announcement flies, haters are gonna hate even more than they do right now.
High five. Boo! Good job, Lewis.
Thank you.
I will see you at Rhode Island Comic Con this year, and me and you, we will come back next week and do this again. If we can find another person to suffer through an hour with us, like Mr. Larsen here has. Erik, I hope I get to work with you someday. It'd be great. You have been awesome, man. Thank you for coming on the show again. I really appreciate it. Guys,
Thanks for having me, guys.
Erik Larsen. He's going to go enjoy his Friday night. Anything else to say to us, Erik? Tell all the good folks out there where they can
just read Savage Dragon and read Ant, and support me in all my endeavors. That's all.
Dig it.
Got it.
Do sit-ups.
And do sit-ups. Sorry about that, guy.
Oh my God! All right,
reacts for crying out loud. All right.
That is Lewis Perry, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. Erik Larsen, folks. They are going to be out for tonight, guys. Thank you again. We're going to play you a little Hellbringers video for the 2022 Kickstarter campaign right now. Guys, say goodbye to Mr. Lewis and Mr. Erik. Thank you, guys.
See ya.
See you guys later. All right, guys, here we go. It is the Hellbringers 2022 hype video. If you haven't seen it yet, get hype, folks, because here we go. I am so ready to show this to you.